Hip hop works as a business because of one thing, and that one thing is authenticity. But I bet you're wondering, why is authenticity so important within hip hop, and why does it allow the genre to be a viable financial outlet and medium for many artists? Well, let's back up a bit. Recently, I was tasked with a university assignment where I had to detail the history of a genre of my choosing and how the business decisions within the genre brought it to its audience, and what that said about the genre's future. While researching for this assessment, I discovered something. The business of hip hop and its history are very overlooked topics, which is surprising to me considering how big this genre has become and how important it is in the larger pop cultural landscape. So now that I got the assignment back and I got a very good mark with it, I thought it'd be cool to share my findings with you guys and explain to you how hip hop works as a business and why. So without further ado, let's get started. As Cruz says, the most important component of the genre is keeping it real. To put it simply, this integral part of hip hop is what propelled it to become one of the most financially successful genres of all time, due to the credibility and influence its artists hold as a result of this convention, as well as the subsequent expectation to always be original. Hip hop has always possessed an influence for financial gain for a variety of mediums and outlets, with artists within the genre being utilized for their authenticity. This financial influence was shown early on in the genre's lifespan, creating a demand that companies felt compelled to cater for. Let's go back to its birth year, in 1973, where DJ Kool Herc, often credited as the father of hip-hop, developed an integral DJ technique, using two turntables and two of the same records, switching between them and repeating the song's climax as well as extending the song's break. Herc's innovation displayed here forever changed musical production, literally flipping something out of nothing through experimentation, and gave hip-hop its musical foundation with the breakbeat. A new wave of production followed, with producers wanting to utilize samples and sampling technology for breakbeat specifically, a demand that was not able to be met with the current production technology at the time, as they didn't possess enough RAM. EMU responded to this demand by releasing the SP1200 drum machine, which featured 4 times the amount of RAM as their previous drum machine, and because of this decision, it was a huge success. Hip-hop producers loved that it had enough memory for loops, showing the genre's influence early on, as it compelled an entire company to release a new product just to cater for its production style. The innovation benefited not only EMU, but also the artists, aspiring and established. From here, as the genre evolved and began to garner more attention due to the controversial and rebellious subject matter of its lyrics, its financial influence began to be seen in more ways than just the development of new musical production equipment. This was through artists as business commodities and brands. Scholars Ren and Scold argue that rap lyrics are a question of rappers constructing their identity, but this storytelling isn't as simple as merely the depiction of outside events, such as their lives and lived experiences. Barriers between the monetary corporate world and artistic merit of hip-hop culture emerged through the releasing of their music. The economic is retold in the narrations, with the narrations being sold as commodities. These commodities depict two distinct discourses that paradoxically relate both to the creation of the productive persona and to the depiction of reality. Let me put this simply. I know that's a lot. A rapper is a salesman trying to sell their product, with the product being their career as a rapper. But in order to be successful in selling themselves, they have to create a convincing, authentic persona, which ironically, in order to be successful, is what they cannot be seen as doing, because they would be seen as inauthentic doing that. But why? Why is this so important that a rapper must be deemed as authentic in order to be successful? A study conducted by Harrison, Seth, Griffin, Bass, and Buchstein found that consumers want the real deal when buying a product, insisting that a rapper must develop an image of authenticity to maintain street credibility and therefore be able to sell. Rappers themselves then become the business, as they are trying to sell themselves as an authentic brand of music rather than just selling music. Jay-Z said it best. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. But you might be wondering, why do we value authenticity so much as listeners and consumers? Well, this need for authenticity is important due to the relatability a hip-hop artist can possess in contrast to other celebrities. As argued by Sculo, for those people seeking inspiration, Bill Gates or other moguls may not seem accessible. A rapper from the same neighborhood might be a much more attractive role model precisely because the rapper seems more like the average person. It gives audiences the hopes that they can one day ascend to these heights, as a rapper's upbringings, trials, and tribulations are often on full display through their lyrics, providing listeners with the full picture from where they started to where they are now, rather than just showing the end point. This relatability and aspiration results in audiences being more inclined to buy into the artist's career, proving more financially successful. As Pharrell Williams tells his listeners, you can do it too. Jay-Z is the perfect example of this. showing audiences how he came from rock bottom to then becoming a billionaire. He grew up in Brooklyn's now infamous Marcy Projects during the 80s crack epidemic, resorting to drug dealing as a teenager as a means of getting by. This background and upbringing proved extremely difficult for him to get signed by a record label, so instead he decided to take matters into his own hands and start Rockefeller Records. This reflects hip-hop's emphasis on authenticity and creating your own opportunities, i.e. flipping something out of nothing. Hove's entrepreneurial spirit and dedication has always been reflected not only in his music, but also various other avenues of revenue. The story of Jay-Z reflects Schuyler's claim that hip-hop is rich in the ethic of hustle. In a 1999 interview, the entertainment lawyer L. Londell McMillan said it's become part of hip-hop culture to become a business mogul, with rappers actually speaking about it within their music. At the end of the 1990s, Jay-Z and his Rockefeller company went into film and also clothing with the brand Rocawear, with Hove going into various other outlets as the years went on, such as the inception and ultimate selling of the streaming service Tidal. This ties into Schuyler's testament that the hip-hop business is not just about selling records, as other activities such as promotion, performance, writing books, and speaking to groups can provide more revenue than just selling the music. This is why it's imperative hip-hop artists maintain authenticity, as in order to succeed in these alternate avenues of revenue, they must be perceived as authentic for not only audiences to want to invest, but other industries as well. As explained by Harrison, Seth, Griffin, Bass, and Buchstein, marketing and brand partnership pivoted towards hip-hop artists from sports stars as the 90s progressed, with this trend still being seen today. Travis Scott is one of Nike's top collaborators and is modeled for Jordan, a sports brand mind you. Pharrell created the now iconic McDonald's jingle, Pusha T was enlisted by Arby's to release a diss track against McDonald's in 2022, and in 2025, Kendrick Lamar is the face of a new Chanel eyewear campaign. The increased exposure gained from such campaigns and inclusions thus led to increased listenership and audiences over the course of the last 30 plus years. This still prevalent trend suggests that hip-hop will always be a genre that thrives off authenticity, as audiences today still carry value in hip-hop artists being true to themselves. The utilization of authentic figures to push a product or to be involved in it can make it appear more legit and worth consumer time and or money. And that, guys, is why hip-hop works as a business. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and hit notifications so you don't miss any more uploads. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.